Hey, Viking fans, there's one more quarterback I want to talk about. I'm going to do that next in 3, 2, 1. Gather around, Skull brothers and sisters. This is Skull World, brought to you by Minnesota Sports Talk. I'm your host, Dave. You can follow me on Twitter, TikTok, and Facebook at Skull World. Now help me Hulk smash the YouTube algorithms by hitting subscribe. Leave a comment. That really is the lifeblood of a YouTube show. Take a few seconds, go hit like, share it, do whatever. Help me out. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for everybody being listeners this long. April 10th is when I started at 2022. I'm working on, I'm almost working on 11 months now. Let's go. Let's go. I want to talk about this guy next, and that is Hendon Hooker, QB, Tennessee. Now, a lot of us, there's some talk about the Vikings trading up, getting their guy. Yes, it's going to take 3 first rounds. We pick late, so our picks aren't as valuable as the guys in front of us. We may have to break the bank to get up into the top 10, top 5, to get an Anthony Richardson, to get a Will Levis. Shroud and Young are probably, I'm not even going to do videos on those two guys just because they're predicted to go 1 and 2. I like the two guys I talked about already, Anthony Richardson, but he's only played 14 games. He's got a 52% completion or 53% completion percentage. Now, Hendon Hooker, on the other hand, we're going to talk about him. Now, I am going to, quarterbacks, Hendon Hooker, QB Tennessee, height 6'3", weight 217, arm 33 inches, span 79, which is even better, hand size 10.5. So this is awesome. I like these stats. All very good stats for a QB. He's he's an inch taller than Kirk. I think Kirk might be 6'3", but if this guy's 6'3", he's the same height or greater than Kirk, but the mobility is also an added feature for him. And it's not outstanding mobility, but you could see in his game tape that he does get around. He does move. Now, this is where I love him. His production, 2022 completion percentage 229, attempts 329, completion 69.6. That's awesome. NFL or college quarterbacks are hitting these numbers. That would have broke records back in the day. Culpepper had the record for UCF for a career. That's the kind of percentage that would break records back in the day. Yards 3,135, average 9.5. That is amazing. That's awesome. This is crazy. 27 TDs, 2 picks. Rating, I don't know if this is right, but 175.5. That's crazy. Maybe I got that wrong. I don't know, but that's insane. In fact, let me quick look. 175.5 according to ESPN. Now that's coming off his last season. He's a 5-year senior. He didn't play his first year in college. He did play his last 4, but his second to last year, not far off, man. 206, 302 attempts, 68.2 completion percent, 29.45 passing, 9.8 average, 31 TDs, 3 picks, 5 picks in his last 2 years. Man, 182 quarterback rating. So his quarterback rating was even higher as second to last year. This production is right up there with all of them, and without the interceptions, elite when it comes to that. Rushing wise, let me look here. He's had some games where he's had 50 yards, 23, 17, 28. So he runs the ball a little bit, but that's not his game. And honestly, there's a couple things I do like about him, and that is, I think he throws off script. I've seen him rolling out to his left. He's right-handed, and I've seen him throw that half sidearm throw up the seam to get a guy open. Kirk Cousins is notoriously good about rolling out to the left, squaring up, and throwing it. This guy throws it off script a little more. He has different arm angles. Kirk Cousins does not have that different arm angle. This guy does. I do like Hendon Hooker. I think QB School did a video on him, and let me. So QB School did a video on him, and and they said that I'd rather have a guy underthrow than overthrow. Now Hendon Hooker has underthrown some guys, but he throws a nice catchable deep ball and allows receivers to go high point it. And you'll see that in game film. I'm no longer doing game film on here. I'm getting demonetized. I don't want strikes against me. I don't know what will happen, so I am not going to do it anymore, unfortunately. But I do give you my first impression of their draft profile. Now Hendon Hooker, the things I love about him: production. He has mobility. He's a big, strong kid, athletic. Not he's not athletic like Anthony Richardson. He's not as strong an arm as Will Levis or the Anthony Richardson, but he has a strong enough arm and he throws a good deep ball. He looks like Teddy Bridgewater, with a little stronger, a little more athletic, but can throw the deep ball. Because Teddy could throw some different arm angles. Hendon Hooker is just a stronger, more athletic, I think, Teddy Bridgewater, but has the ability to throw the deep ball that because Teddy Bridgewater pushed the ball too much, threw it on the line, overthrew guys, could not drop it in the bucket. And that was my biggest complaint about him when he was on our team. I think Hendon Hooker is a better athlete than Teddy Bridgewater was. And as far as draft position, that's where the comparison kind of falls in. This guy could go first round or he could go second round. So for us, it wouldn't break the bank to get a guy like Hendon Hooker if and it for me it depends on what Kirk Cousins does. Does he resign? If he doesn't resign, we let him play out this year. We go get a quarterback this year, not next year. If he signs an extension or like let's say 1 year extension, we maybe can wait to next year because next year is going to have a good QB draft too. We may do a video on that. I did a video earlier about how to fix the D and draft a QB, and it was for 2024. And I did lay out 5 quarterbacks that were pretty good. That have a lot of production that would be high draft picks possibly in 2024. But Hendon Hooker is getting a little more steam with us because of where we can get him. My dream would be is if we trade down a couple of times, accumulate more picks. Now we're drafting early second round, but we take the best player available, and then we have enough picks to trade up from the third round to go get this guy. And think about that, getting our future quarterback with our second pick in the draft. It would be a perfect scenario. But hey, even if we didn't, and we did take him with our first pick overall, if it's late second or if it's late first or early second, we would have accumulated a lot of extra picks in this draft that we could move back up in a second and get that guy that we want, get the linebacker we want. There's some guys that I've already talked about defensively that might be there for us, or get the center from Minnesota, whatever. Those are my perfect scenarios. But physical talent, physical size, athletic ability, production, accuracy, all these things are wins, wins, wins for Hendon Hooker. Now the only thing that is that he's come off injury, right? He's not going to start his first year, but he's 25 for the 2023 season. So he'd be 26 the 2024 season. If Kirk Cousins signs an extension, well then he's not starting until he's 27. So that's like Chris Winkie type shit from Florida State where he like came out of the league, he's 27 years old because he played baseball first. Hendon Hooker, man, but I like the fact that he is seasoned. He has got some playing time. He's been successful. There's not a whole lot to not like about him, in my opinion. Their QB school did say that, hey, there was some pass protection issues with Tennessee, and he wasn't really big on what the offense was like. And is it the offensive protections? Is the coaching, or is it Hendon Hooker not reading the defense right and getting enveloped by a single blitzer? That an unprotected blitzer. So there's some. If you go to the QB school on YouTube, it's don't pay the greatest light for him, but they do a lot of positive things. He's very fair, and that's why he's not the top 5, I believe. Mainly, I think it's the injury. But hey, let's talk about his draft bio. This is from NFLBuzz.com. Hendon Hooker, while playing for Dudley High School, threw for over 6,000 yards, 55 TDs, and also had another 3,000 on the ground. He was rated a 3-star recruit from ESPN and handed a 4-star grade 247 Sports following high school. Hooker opted to stay close to home and joined Virginia Tech. In 2019, as a freshman, Hooker saw action in 10 games for the Hokies and threw for 1,556 yards on 163 attempts with a completion percentage of 60.7 for an average of 9.5 yards per pass. Always been a big play guy. Always been a big play guy with 13 TDs while taking 17 sacks and a QB rating of 113.9. 2020 was disappointment for Hooker. He played in 7 games, passing for 1,232 yards with a completion percentage of 63 for average of 8.9. Still big play with 8 TDs while also taking 16 sacks and putting a QB rating of 96. He added 112 runs for a total of 497 yards for an average of 4.4 per rush. So he ran a little bit more when he was younger. After the down year in 2020, Hooker transferred to Tennessee, and with it, his production got back on track. He played 13 games in 2021, playing 2948. I've said this, 68%, 9.7 yards attempt, 31 TDs, 41 sacks with a QB rating of 129.1. The rushing department is notched up 88 runs for a total of 559 yards and averages 6.40 per run. So he runs the ball well, averages 6.4. It's not like a Will Levis at 3 yards per run, right? His junior year. At the end, now this quarterback rating, ESPN has a whole lot higher. So I don't know about this. Can't trust these stats come out of college. It's like you read one person and it's wrong. At the end of 2021, Hooker was named SEC 4th team selection, added to the 2022 Manning Award preseason list, along with 2022 Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award watch list. So they were high on him going to senior, and he didn't disappoint. 2022 as a senior, Hooker saw action 11 games, and he threw for an elite 3135 yards, 331 attempts, percentage 69.2, 9.5. So I'm reading all this again. 27 TDs, that was elite, while taking 26 sacks. So it went down considerably. In total QB rating 123.9. I don't get this. So QB rating's wrong, different on ESPN than it is on this. He had 129 runs for a total of 786 yards and average of 6.1 per run. For the guys that did not want to run first running back, he is not a run first running back. So for guys that want to be mobile and be able to run when he can, how about 786 yards and 6.1 per run? This is the answer for you guys. It's a happy in between player fans that don't want to mortgage the future, but still want a succession plan for Kirk Cousins. I have kind of cooled off on Will Levis a little bit, and I've picked up steam on Hendon Hooker. So I would not, if we drafted him at 23, it wouldn't kill me, right? I would be like, okay, but if we somehow trade down and get him later and get extra picks and we get him, that'd be awesome. That would be my perfect situation. We get the quarterback of the future. We get, we get the extra picks so we can go get some defensive players, maybe even get extra help on the receiver. And honest to God, I'm big on Jalen Naylor, so let's go get him now, or let's give him some playing time, and we can, and we'll have TJ Hawkinson, Justin Jefferson, Jalen Naylor, whatever receiver we get in the next year's draft, or we, keep our current third receiver, KJ Osborne. We probably are moving on from, we're probably moving on, unfortunately. But hey, let's talk about the scouting report strengths. Hooker is quick release and live arm. Agree. Delivering tight spirals, and Hooker shows good touch and intermediate levels. Agree. This is me looking at it for the first time and just based off his videos, watching the QB school videos, show, and I got to see bad play from him. This is one of the first video I went and looked at bad play of him too. Shows good accuracy and shorter throws when on the move on either side. I said that. That's his superpower. Hooker has shown the elite ability to get the ball downfield and has exhibited impressive velocity and accuracy. Throwing on the move looks like he has an NFL level arm. I agree. Accurate on intermediate and short throws, flashes anticipation and placement on intermediate outs, and ability to lead receivers in deeper throws. Yes, yes, and yes. Agree with all of it. Good accuracy overall, including excellent accuracy and short timing routes to backs and receivers, placing the ball slightly in front to lead receivers to potentially yardage after the catch. Has ideal height for position. 6'4". It says 6'4" here, but has him in a. I've seen 6'3", and is an asset scanning the field. And also, he's a better mover and typical tall quarterback. Checked on better mover than a typical tall quarterback. Checked in at the Senior Bowl, 10.5-inch hands by the far the biggest of the group. This will further boost the stock. Agreed. Hands are a big deal, man. Hands are a huge deal. Ben Roethlisberger can hold on to the ball, pump fake, got him, and made him a good quarterback. Is an impressive runner, has consistently gained yardage on the ground, can be used to run a version of read option when required. Really smart player, high character, who can be a natural team leader. All the things you want to hear about a quarterback you just heard. Now, his weaknesses. Let's see if I agree or disagree. Hooker has a tendency to hold the ball too long. He'll make panic throws good. Things don't always follow when he's forced to extend plays. I seen some of the bad stuff too, so you can see that. He remains a work in progress physically. He'll need to add more weight to stand up long term in the pros. He's 217. I don't know. Maybe he puts on a little bit more weight, but he doesn't need to add too much. He looks fine. Hooker gets sloppy with the mechanics on the move, losing accuracy as he relies too much on his arm. I seen him underthrow the ball a little bit, but again, he throws it to in a way that a ball can be high pulling it. So I like it. Great at zipping his passes. Like I'm talking about short, just a short delivery, quick throw, and with zip on it. He does that. Not so good showing the touch the drop ball into a bucket. I don't agree with that. That was one of the things I said I liked about him. His footwork needs some work. Stands flat-footed right now. Mechanically, he's a bit of a work in progress. I don't know. Executes in the thing I don't like is everything shotgun in the college. So executes an offense that alien to what the runs in the NFL. It will steep learning curve for him in the pros, and that was a big QB school issue. Is that the offense doesn't translate whenever he's forced out because all his throws are like go down and option. Like there's option throws in the NFL, but it's more timing. This is go down there, break right or left, depending on what the receiver does, and it's all apparently that's all his routes were. Uh, Executes in an offense says, okay, whenever he's forced outside the pocket, he will look to run and rarely passes. Will need to learn to keep his head up, looking downfield on scrambles. Maybe that's true. Hooker suffered an ACL tear on November 19th during a game against South Carolina. Gamecocks on the road will need to check out medically. Uh, Overage. Yeah, he'll be 25 come over aged aspect or prospect. He'll be 25 come draft day. True. Here's a scouting summary. Hooker is quality prospect who has faced adversity during his college career, but now seems an ideal place to take the next step and really get the attention of NFL scouts. He possesses excellent athletic talent, has a strong arm, huge hands, and has the power to make all the requisite throws at the next level. He also a decent runner who is always a threat on the move. However, Hooker is still a little raw as a player and needs to demonstrate he can become a more consistently nuanced player. Hooker was putting up good numbers prior to his ACL injury and finished the season with an impressive QB rating. Was outstanding in a 5 TD performance against Alabama, although ran into a brick wall a few weeks later against Georgia. We expect Hooker to be a very solid draft prospect, assuming he recovers from his torn ACL and has all the skills to become an excellent starter in the pros so long as he isn't rushed into action too soon. Now, wait, this is a spider chart. 40 time, they have him at 4.77. He won't be running a 40, so we won't know, but game tape doesn't lie. A 4.77, that's better than Pat Mahomes, and Pat Mahomes not known as a running quarterback. He's just be able to move around. So athletic ability, he's at that level of a Pat Mahomes, but probably a little more physical, being able to run the ball a little bit better. Height, it says average. They've had him at 6'4", 6'3". I don't know, but average. Weight below average. Hand size elite. Arm length also well above average. Wingspan elite. So he's got a lot of things going for him, man. Hendon Hooker is a guy that we could draft and sit where we're at, possibly. We could trade out of him if we don't like him, and we can accumulate picks and let someone take him in our stead. There's a lot of things. I'm optimistic about this draft. Our second round pick is TJ Hawkinson. That's who we gave up. That's what we gave up to get TJ Hawkinson. So we know our second pick is an elite tight end. Big game player, 900 and some yards in the season. That's our second round pick. So think about that. Now we just need our long-term solution at quarterback, because Kirk Cousins is going to be 35 this year. He's 34 right now. He'll turn 35 in August. That's what he'll play on the season. And we're replace him with a guy that's 10 years younger if we take out Hendon Hooker. But I like that we don't have to give up so much. He's got the production. He's got the athletic ability everybody likes. Normally, if those other 4 quarterbacks didn't exist, this guy would have been an excellent option, definite first rounder. He may still be a first rounder. That's why I'm saying that he might be there and might be the guy we would have to take at 23 if we want to go future quarterback, if Kirk Cousins doesn't get an extension. All right, Viking fans, that's it. Skol Vikings. Hendon Hooker, QB at Tennessee, could be our next quarterback, the guy you've been wanting to have, a long-term solution, athletic, can scramble, good arm, big arm. There's so many things everything you guys wanted in a quarterback, he has it, and he's not going to cost 3 first-round picks. So Skol Vikings, let's go. See you next time. Cue the music.